Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my channel, The Wisdom
Um,
Talks. Uh,
I like
Welcome to my channel, The Wisdom
I'm staying.
Talks. Today we are with Maya, and we will have conversation with her. So my topic is procrastination. So let's start our conversation with Maya. Hello, Maya. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to dive into procrastination with you and your audience.
Thank you. So my first question is, what is procrastination, and how would you define it in your own words?
To me, procrastination is basically the art of choosing a momentary mood boost over a long-term goal. It's that weird mental tug of war where you know exactly what you need to do, but your brain convinces you that cleaning the baseboards or scrolling through old photos is suddenly the most urgent task in the world. It's less about being lazy and more about trying to avoid the stress or boredom tied to the actual task.
Okay. Why do people
You're very welcome.
procrastinate even when they know a task is important?
It's usually because our brains are wired to prioritize immediate rewards over future ones. When a task feels overwhelming, boring, or scary, it triggers a stress response. To stop that feeling, we pivot to something that gives us a quick hit of dopamine, like checking a phone or organizing a desk. It's a defense mechanism. We're not avoiding the work as much as we're avoiding the negative emotions that come with it.
Okay. What are some common signs that someone is procrastinating?
One of the biggest signs is productive procrastination. That's when you do everything except the main task, like suddenly deciding you absolutely must deep clean the kitchen or organize your emails before you can possibly start that important project. Other signs include constantly telling yourself you'll start at the top of the hour or feeling a lingering sense of guilt and anxiety even while you're doing something relaxing.
Okay. How does
I'm
procrastination?
ready for the next.
Sorry, I am asking you my next question. How does procrastination affect personal and professional growth?
Professionally, it's a confidence killer. When you constantly push things to the last minute, you're usually turning in work that's just okay rather than your best. Over time, that creates a reputation for being unreliable, and you might miss out on opportunities because you weren't ready to jump on them. Personally, it's even heavier. It creates this constant background noise of guilt and stress. You never truly relax during your downtime because that unfinished task is always looming over you, which eventually drains your mental energy and makes you feel like you're stagnant while everyone else is moving forward.
Yes, I think you are absolutely right. So let's move to our next question. What is the difference between taking a break and procrastinating?
The biggest difference is how you feel when you're actually doing it. A real break is intentional and restorative. You decide to stop, you enjoy the rest, and you feel refreshed when you go back to work. Procrastination is different. It's a avoidant behavior. You aren't actually resting because you're usually plagued by guilt or anxiety about the thing you're not doing. One is a recharge, the other is just a distraction. I'm not sure I follow. What do you mean I won't be able to do it?
Okay, so can you tell me, can fear of failure lead to procrastination?
Absolutely. Fear of failure is one of the biggest drivers of procrastination. It's basically a protective instinct. If you don't actually start the task, you can't fail at it. By delaying the work, you're protecting your ego from the possibility that your best effort might not be good enough. It turns the task into a test of your worth, so your brain just decides it's safer to avoid the test entirely.
Okay. How does
Okay.
procrastination contribute to how does perfectionism contribute to procrastination?
Here is like the high pressure cousin of procrastination. It happens when the standard you set is so impossibly high that the fear of not hitting it becomes paralyzing. Instead of just starting, you get stuck in a loop of planning or overanalyzing because you feel like if it can't be perfect from the very first draft, it's not worth doing at all. It turns a simple task into a mountain, and the easiest way to avoid that mountain is to just never start climbing.
So, what role does motivation play in overcoming procrastination?
Motivation is a bit of a trap. Most people think they need to feel motivated before they can start, but it actually works the other way around. Motivation usually arrives after you've already started making progress. If you wait for the perfect mood or burst of inspiration, you might be waiting forever. The real secret is relying on discipline and systems rather than motivation, because action creates the momentum that eventually makes you feel motivated.
Okay, thank you. How can setting clear goals help reduce procrastination?
Clear goals act like a map for your brain. When a task is vague, like work on the project, feels like a giant blurry cloud, which is intimidating and easy to avoid. But when you turn that into a clear goal, like write the first 3 paragraphs of the introduction, you've essentially broken the mountain down into manageable steps. It removes the guesswork and the decision fatigue of wondering where to start, which makes it much harder for your brain to find an excuse to put it off.
Okay, why is time management important in overcoming procrastination?
um, Time management is really about creating boundaries for your brain. Without a plan, time feels infinite in the moment, which is exactly why we tell ourselves we can do it tomorrow. When you actually manage your time, you're forcing yourself to acknowledge that your hours are finite. It turns that vague sense of someday into a concrete deadline, which creates a healthy kind of pressure that pushes you to actually start.
Okay, what are some common distractions?
Most obvious ones are usually digital, social media, endless scrolling, or that one specific app that sucks you in for hours. But there are also environmental distractions, like a noisy room or a messy desk, and even internal ones, like a wandering mind or a sudden urge to research something completely unrelated to what you're actually supposed to be doing.
Okay, so how can social media impact productivity and focus?
Social media is designed to be a dopamine machine. It captures your focus by giving you tiny, instant rewards every time you scroll, which trains your brain to crave constant novelty. When you try to switch back to a task that requires deep focus, that task feels painfully slow and boring by comparison. It doesn't just take away your time, it actually fragments your attention span, making it much harder to stay locked into one thing for an extended period.
Okay, what strategies can students use to avoid procrastinating on assignments?
One of the best things students can do is use the 5 minute rule. Tell yourself you're only going to work on the assignment for 5 minutes, and after that, you're allowed to stop. Usually, the hardest part is just breaking the seal of starting, and once you've pushed through those first few minutes, the momentum takes over. They should also try body doubling, which is just working in the same room as someone else who is also being productive. It creates a silent layer of accountability that makes it way harder to justify scrolling on your phone.
Okay, thank you so much, Maya. We had great discussion with you. Thanks to be with us, and thank you everybody to be with us and watching our video. Uh, Allah Hafiz, Maya. See you again.
Allah Hafiz. It was such a pleasure joining you and your audience on the Wisdom Talks. I can't wait to see how the video turns out.
Thank you.
See you next time. You're so welcome.